Hello, we're back with another sketchbook. I have had lunch, I went on a bike ride, I've done my job, and now we're back to reviewing this sketchbook thing. Okay, so the second sketchbook, actually this is not really a sketchbook per se, but I used it a lot while I used this sketchbook as well. So I definitely use these two for painting and drawing purposes the most. There were also, I did some paintings in a separate arches papers that were not part of any blocks of any sketchbooks. This is the one that is just intact. So this one is a Winsor & Newton watercolor cold press paper. I definitely got this after I went and did the workshop watercolor with Elfen Diary. I wasn't very well versed in watercolor paper at that time. I only know arches and I only know Winsor & Newton. The one that I've been using lately, Canson Heritage, and then the one that I've been using lately, Cezanne, is a pretty recent addition to my watercolor paper. And I also knew Canson, but I knew the Canson watercolor mixed media paper, and I tried the mixed media one and I didn't really like it, and I thought that this is the more premium version of it, just because it's a lot more expensive than the Canson mixed media watercolor mixed media paper. So I tried this and it definitely looks a bit fancy. It's not a blocked paper, it has this spiral binding, but yeah, like just the overall feel of it feels fancy. And this is the first page, so this is supposed to be true from Luna, and then it says Unity. I remember like being super proud of this, but not really proud of how I painted the clothes, definitely. And at this time I didn't have the good watercolor yet. I was using the Koi watercolor palette that only had about 12 colors or 12 paints in it, and they are okay, but I just didn't really like how not vibrant they are. So I used the Koi watercolor palette for most of this. So yeah, if you want to talk about the composition itself, I did not really plan any of it very well. The the proportion is just way off for this one, and I absolutely hated the way I painted the clothes and how dull it looks against the yellow and the green background. And I just didn't really like how I framed this in general, just because I didn't like put tape around it and paint a square. Basically I just went with my cuts and didn't really plan it all that much. I just wanted to paint and use my new watercolor and my new paper. So this is what came out of it. In terms of blending, I think I pretty much got it at this point, especially like the face area. But for the clothes, I just didn't really like that very much. Also, this painting doesn't have a lot of depth to it. Like, it's just a very flat composition, and it just feels very random for me right now. I know that sounds probably a little too nitpicky, but if you don't nitpick your old art, then what's the point? Because like I always see them as they're old art, so I have to learn something from it. And yeah, I don't want to sound too harsh to myself, but I can also acknowledge that this is just not a good artwork, but it's not really that bad either, considering how this is probably like one of my first try with watercolor. Anyway, let's move on. Wait, actually I think like this color is Moon Glow, because I remember in the beginning of using watercolor I had the Sakura Koi palette, and then I bought some sheer tube for Daniel Smith colors, and I got the Moon Glow and I got the Rose of Ultramarine, if I'm not mistaken. So one of those like purpley dark colors, I think I used it here too. This is also Moon Glow. So I was obsessed with using this color just because I really like the quality of it compared to the koi. So I definitely used it a lot and just kind of abused it without even realizing if those colors really go well with the composition or not. So let's move on. Okay, so this is another example of how sloppy I used to be, or at least I tend to be even until now with my artwork. I know that this is just supposed to be a study, and as you can see here, that this is April 2018, so that really is the beginning of me starting the Maligos account, because I started on February, and that account starting only means that I draw regularly. That's it. It doesn't mean anything else. So this one is supposed to be a study, and it's just really sloppy because I just don't know really what the point of it. I just wanted to paint, I guess, but color wise it's bad and the perspective is off. It just looks really wonky and weird, and it makes me feel like I wasted this entire paper for absolutely nothing. But even at that time, I just didn't have any fun doing this. So yeah, it's something that I don't know. I just don't understand why I did this. And second page too. Actually, this might be the third. I think I took off the second page and kept it in a separate folder. Probably a better looking artwork than this one. Moving on. You can't see that one, but this one is, I forgot what it was based on. I think it's Fake Love. Back when I used to do a lot of BTS fan art. You can see again that I've been using like a lot of Rose of Ultramarine and the Moon Glow watercolor here, just because those are literally the only two good watercolors that I had, and the other was just not very good quality. I had no words. Like, I guess like it's interesting how I came up with this, but this one is it just looks like a separated hand or a severed hand. Just like the proportion is really off, but I'm not gonna nitpick this too much just because it's a tinier painting and I kind of like how this looks here. And it's just not too bad actually, compared to the previous one. I'm just not gonna say anything about this actually. Okay, so another one is this. This one is a failure, obviously. What can I say about this? One thing that I don't really like about this paper is definitely the texture is a little too rough for my liking. I like more of smoother paper these days, and I do like Suzanne, the Honey paper one. I think, wait, let me get it and compare the quality actually. Okay, so you definitely can see it, but the texture is pretty much the same, but the feeling of painting on this watercolor paper and this one is a bit different, because with Honey Mule, I don't know how to pronounce it again, watercolor just kind of absorbs really well here, and in this one it doesn't adhere too well. I can't explain it, but with this watercolor paper, when you apply a wet paint, a wet bottle of water, it just kind of like absorbs a little, but with this one it just sort of like stays afloat on the watercolor paper a little bit before it actually absorbs. I'm just not a fan of painting here. I might actually have to try again just to see and just to really find out how it's like now, because it's been a while since I've used this, so my judgment might be incorrect. I've never been a fan of using this one. I don't know, I think maybe I just had bad experience with it because I used it back when I didn't have much experience with watercolor, so a lot of it just came out really bad. So it might really not be the paper's color. I have to retest it to prove that. So I don't know about this, but I think this is like the most recent entry here, because if I paint on the back side of the front side paper. Does that make sense? It's basically just more of a newer entry than the rest, because that means that I filled out the other side. This is supposed to be my OC, but yeah, it's just not very well developed, and the pose itself is just not very good. This one upsets me so much because I like it, but the thing is that it doesn't look so much like Yoongi, and I actually meant for it to look like Yoongi, and I like the color, but again, it doesn't have a lot of depth to it because it just looks very flat. It looks like it's part of just like one layer, and it's not really the background. Someone commented on the Instagram post where I posted this artwork, and they said, oh, this looks like this other person instead. I'm not even gonna mention the name, but I think you're probably gonna think about it. And again, it doesn't really mean anything. I mean, like, I know that the majority of artists or fan artists really doesn't like it when people comment that type of stuff on their artwork, and me included. But it's not like we can just go out and throw a tantrum and be mad at this person, because I know that most of the time they don't really mean it in a bad way. They're just saying it because they see it, and so that's fine. But it's just like, it ruins my confidence for a while, because I'm the type of person definitely that thinks about getting the likeness of the face right, even though I stylize it and even though I simplify the face. But when it doesn't look like the person that I'm trying to draw, and when people really comment on it, it just makes me feel a little bit sad. Yeah, I end up really not saying anything about it. I just let it go. But now that I look at it again, I definitely remember how it felt, and it just happens so often when I draw like fan art stuff. Then people would comment like, oh, this looks like another person instead. And I don't know why you feel the need to say things like that to an artist though. I mean, okay, good for you that you really notice that, but please don't. Okay, so this is the artwork that I actually wait, I had a sketch here. I actually said it earlier, but I'm not sure if I can find it now. Okay, so this is the sketch, really ugly and really badly drawn, and this is the actual drawing. So this is Jungkook on a bike, and I tried to get that multicolor type of thing going on because why not? I liked it at the time and people liked it. Now looking at it again, it looks a little bit so sloppy for my liking now. I think that if I flip this artwork horizontally, the face is gonna look wonky, which is like a bad habit of mine. And you can see like all of these really sloppy sketches. This is one of the reasons why I don't sketch on watercolor paper anymore. I just sketch digitally and then I transfer it to watercolor paper. I'm just not good at sketching neatly, and I always get scared of ruining the watercolor paper with my pencil marks, and it just feels like double the work because I can't really flip the canvas to check if the proportion is right. I know that I need to probably get better on that, but you know what, it's just faster to sketch digitally. And if it's just supposed to be sketches and if it's just supposed to be studies, I don't really need to get that all of these pencil marks to be gone. I don't have to get the basic sketch clean. But for a finished artwork that I plan to make something out of and I plan to sell the original off later on, it definitely is important to get the sketch right. Moving on again. This is a pretty new entry. I don't know from when, but I think like early this year or maybe last year actually. I think it could be probably October last year. It's just chaos. I have no words, absolutely no words. The ink that I used bled all over the place. I'm not sure what type of ink this is, but it's just, my god. Okay, so this is another, I have no words. This is so bad. I'm not even gonna say anything about this, but yeah, it is what it is. This one I was proud of just because I don't know, I think it looks pretty nice. I'm not gonna nitpick it again because people are gonna get annoyed at me, but there are things that I could have done differently. But yeah, I'm okay with the nose. The hair is a bit of a struggle to look at right now. Definitely the crease of the clothes is and was and is my biggest weakness in like drawing or like rendering, especially with traditional media. It's just not my best. I'm just not good at it. This one I just didn't continue because I didn't know how to without ruining it. I don't know. This one, I was proud of it at the time. I think I fixed a little bit of the eyes, especially when I scanned it. For the colors, I don't know, like for the face, I think it's fine, because painting faces in a purpley color can go wrong really quickly. But the fact that it doesn't look really all that monstrous right now is probably a good sign. This one, I'm happy with the color, not so much with the face, but I'm not gonna complain about that. This one, I'm not sure. A lot of empty pages, and then I just have no words. It's just so bad. It's just proportionally off. This is so bad. I'm sorry. I can't look at this anymore. And last but not least, this is a collab that I did with a bunch of my friends. This is one of the artworks that I was most proud of in 2018. I think I did okay with the color combinations, and I did okay with the composition. I think at this point I realized that maybe I'm just not really cut out to create portraits anymore. I mean, yeah, sure, but just not my main concern, because I really like drawing backgrounds, and it really can't really put the artworks together. Just looks more, I don't know, organized in my mind, instead of just having a portrait with a blank background or with a dark background. Just really like how this whole vibe is. Yeah, I'm really happy with this one. I think I did okay with this, and the ribbons really does tie everything together. No pun intended. Alright, moving on. This one is also from 2018. I used this simultaneously with the Winsor & Newton and the Red Sketchbook. This one is the Derwent Sketchbook, the one that I've also posted on, and also the one that I got recently. This small one, you know, I have like 3 of this at this point. I just really like how this sketchbook is, and it's really accessible and it's affordable, and the paper is really good. Legos 2018 Environment Study Watercolor Concept Breakdown of Color. So I did use this mainly for studies and for concepting reasons, because I am a huge fan of Chris Hong, and I love how she uses her sketchbook for art. This is the first page. It's basically, this is Sandbag from Sense8. I've shown this multiple of times. It's one of my happiest time painting during this year, just because everything just works together in one page. It's a miracle. It's literally a miracle. And since this is my first literal painting on this paper ever, like this is the first time I've ever tried it and it worked so well, I was just so happy with the purchase and so happy that I made the decisions to buy this. So this is the second page. Yeah, if you followed me from 2018, you probably have also seen this page because I posted it a lot because I was so proud of it, and I love how unintentional, but this like shadow, this looks like a person's shadow, right, on the ocean. It's unintentional, but I just really like how that looks. And again, 3 artworks in one page without it looking too messed up. It's a miracle. It truly is. So I was really proud of it, and I still am actually. Let's just be real. This compared to the artworks in like the Winsor & Newton one is so much better, and I say this like because maybe you think that I'm a little bit too nitpicky with those artworks there, but genuinely, like, those artworks there are just bad. And since I do this artworks and paintings in the same period I did those paintings in the Winsor & Newton sketchbook, I think then that maybe, I don't know what's the problem with that, with those artworks there. This one I did a bunch of like pencil studies and then watercolor and gouache studies here. I'm really happy with this page as well. I did this with my friends when we went out in an art date at a cafe, so it was really fun. I'm not happy with this one because again, this is portrait, which is not something that I'm very good at. I think like I did this first and then I did this second, and then I painted this and somehow changed the background a little bit. I don't know why, but I like this one better actually compared to this one. It just works better here than this one. This is an Arches watercolor paper, by the way. Yeah, a lot of this. Next page. Actually, I did this to cover up really ugly studies back here. With this, I don't know what this is, but like super angsty BTS stuff. And then this, I drew a bunch of Yoongi. Look at him, so cute. Anyway, I covered up a lot of this bad sketches because it's embarrassing to look at. Why is this so hard to open? There's a bunch of this. I don't know what this is, like pencil sketches, some hand studies again, and then I had to ruin this page by using ink here and dip pen, which is something that I absolutely hate. And there's a bunch of doodles. So the beginning of the sketchbook is pretty much kind of like aesthetic, layout, mood board type of thing, and then it just kind of like went downhill. Not even gonna bother to show you this area right here because it's a little bit embarrassing for me to show. Okay, so this is another one that I'm really proud of. I'm just really happy with this one, you guys. It's not smooth, it's not painted in a very beautiful and neat way, but somehow it just works, you know, like the splotches, the watermarks. It's great. I love it. I love it so much. I actually like, I'm really proud of it even until now. Cause like, what the hell, I got snapped. This is based on the Valiant song by BTS. And another one is this artworks. I think I did this with acrylic ink, not sure. And then this one is the Ghibli, a little bit of a study. I don't know, it's not really anything, it's just like, I think like I painted this area and then I quickly realized that I cannot really paint any of the details or get any of it right, so I just like gave up completely. Oops. Show sketches. Wait. Thank you for 3K. Oh, that was when I hit 3K followers on Instagram. Here are a bunch of hand studies in watercolor. This one I ended up turning into painting and it looks a little bit better than the sketch. A bunch of studies that I did on Instagram Live, I think, with gouache. I also did this study with gouache on Instagram Live. And there's this one, I think this one is also gouache. I like how I drew this, like painted this area. I think it's very cool. Okay, so these two I'm proud of, and the rest not so much. Bunch of color drops. Next one is the Saipan studies from the, I think, BTS summer package in 2018. I love how the vibe is here. It's just so peachy and so peaceful, and yeah, I like it. Wait, I just dropped a bunch of water on the floor. I think like at some point, I think it happens like periodically that I want to use ink in my artwork, and I just quickly realize always that it doesn't work. Also happy with this page. This is gouache, this study from the Call Me By Your Name and the sea, and then there's this some interesting colors that I don't usually use. This is the artwork for my BT21, I think like Converse. Was it a Converse? I think it was a Converse. It was a competition. But why did I choose to paint this here? I have no idea. This one is inspired by Euphoria. I like how the multicolor sky looks here, and since this page doesn't really do well with really heavy water, it does all of these marks, and it did warp a lot, but I ended up spraying the back side with some water and then I just iron it. And then here we have, this is my OC Cloud. She's been redesigned a couple of times. I basically just really changed all of her features altogether. The t-shirt, like the striped t-shirt, makes her look so much like Wally. Was it Wally? I don't remember. So this is from August 2018. So bunch of this, and then this one I did when I was on an art date with my friend, again with a multicolor sky and multicolor background. I have no idea why. Did a bunch of sketches with ink again because of course I wanted to try it and failed at it again somehow. There's a go on here, and this is the, I think this is the latest entry because yeah, I'm proud of this one. I think like for something that is sketched straight on the paper. It just looks good. It's nice. This is inspired by Periflor because she did a lot of paintings like this. And then we have some creepy ball of fluffs and there's a really junky puppy. This is definitely me trying to prepare myself for Inktober because a lot of ink around here, but they're all so badly done just because I don't know how to use ink. This is in gouache, definitely one of the earlier, I think the one of the latest entry, just because it's on this side. This one says Sokchin with gouache, and this one I'm okay with. It's just not all that bad for sketchy artwork. This is based on, I think, Rund Taehyung. And we have this Taehyung and Yeontan artwork. And there's a bunch of this faults for code study and ruffles also. A bunch of this ruffle study and gouache. This one I'm also proud of. I like how this looks. I did paint this first, but then I didn't really like how it looks and I redrew it here. Then there's a bunch of this studies in color poster for environment. I didn't really finish this one, but I like this one. I like this one. This one is a little bit too ambiguous for me, but yeah, this one looks nice. Oh, and then I did a bunch of this really cool portraits for basically the 100 heads challenge by Ahmed Al-Duri. I did post the scanned sketchbook version of that, so you can check it out. I'll put it on the link in the description below. It's free, so you can get it for free and check it out. Yeah, I'm proud of this actually. Like, even this one, I know that all of this looks warm and this one is definitely on the cooler side because I did use orange, and I think it was I forgot the name of the color, but it was a Daniel Smith paint, but it just looks really nice actually. Let me zoom out a little. I love this absolutely. Like, after seeing at how bad all the previous artworks are and then seeing this, it just makes me really feel like, oof, I've improved a lot. I think I did finish this either in the beginning of this year or like late last year, but yeah, I love this, not even gonna lie. I know that they look splotchy and they don't look very smooth in the painting style, but this somehow works. I also like that I didn't really spend all that much time on this. I just did it on the whim and I didn't really think too much of it. They're just meant to be quick studies, that's it. Also, I asked a bunch of my friends on Twitter if I could paint them. I didn't put the names here, sorry, but I did already tag them. Yeah, I love this. I did another painting of this for commission for them, so that was really cool. These are also my Twitter friends. Another page of this. I'm really proud of this. Because did get all of the likeness, in my opinion, which is nice. These are also some of my Twitter friends. This one is not. Aren't they super pretty and cute? So this is, I think, the last one for the watercolor 100 hats thing. I think once I get to this point, like, I was just so sick of it. 100 hats turns out to be a lot of hats. Just a lot. Too much, in my opinion. Just a small study. I like this. This doesn't look at all too sloppy. Nice. And it kind of looks a little bit glowy too. This one is so watercolor. So these are the commission for the BLM donation. That was around like March, I think, March or May, just in the middle of this year. Okay, so that was like the last of it. I do still have some pages left, but maybe someday I will finish it. So considering how this sketchbook is from early 2018 basically, and it lasts until now, is, I think, like pretty good deal. I have another sketchbook that I want to review as well, but I think I'm running out of battery in my camera, so I'm just going to do it next month for Patreon. Again, if you want to check out the scanned version, I will upload it. Now that I look at it, these are just so much contents, and I think it will take me quite a while to upload it, so maybe at the end of the month I will, but I'll just get this video out there first. And so yeah, that was it for today's sketchbook review. Anyway, yeah, so thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a good day, and bye.